Hello, everybody. It is March 30th, 2026 at 8:01 p.m. EST, and you are watching the Dovecote, episode 88, with Isabelle, creator of Girlframe and a variety of other TTRPGs and supplements and other things. Isabelle, would you like to introduce yourself to my audience?
Hi, I'm Isabelle, she, her, also known as Anxious Mimic RPGs or Thistle if you've known me for a while. Um, yeah, happy to be here.
Hell yeah. So this is an unusual. I feel like uh, I feel like over the years of doing the show, which I think is maybe like 2 years. I don't know. I'm not counting that well. Over the years of doing the show, I've had some guests who have like had me at a disadvantage, but I kind of feel like I have you at a disadvantage because I've really, I mean, there are certainly parts of the book that I haven't read yet, but the last two episodes of the show have been me reading reading Girlframe in your absence. For
Mhm.
those who haven't been keeping up or don't know about Girlframe, would you like to just kind of give a quick pitch for what that is?
Yeah, so Girlframe has been my project that I've been working on pretty exclusively for the past God knows how long. It's a game about a TTRPG about lesbian mech pilots uh, dealing with like their handler and eldritch horrors and each other mostly. Um, it's powered by the apocalypse. I've been told it's a little bit kinky and very, very trans.
Yeah, yeah. I I've really enjoyed reading it. I think like I brought this up in a bit during the reading, which is like um I think having read all of it now, I do agree with your framing of like it is a little bit kinky, um, and yet like there's a there's such a deep horror to it that like I think most of it just kind of makes me feel sick to my stomach. Parentheses positive. um,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
I guess like how do you land on like where you see Girlframe in relationship to Kink?
So, one thing that's kind of interesting, I think, is so this version of Girlfame is, I believe, the third iteration that I wrote. Um, the first one was a game called Traumatized Mech Pilots. Uh, and then the second one was like Girlframe, but with an entirely different system. Um, this version was the third version I wrote where I explicitly wanted to hone in on that more like trans interpretation, because it was very much that before, but this is the one where the handler became a bit more of a thing, um, all of that kind of stuff. And this was the first version with sex plays, and the sex plays were actually the last thing that I added
Oh,
to the game. Like late enough that I didn't even really have a chance to like playtest them before the rest like before I released the game.
interesting.
Um so and I added them because it felt like there was something missing. But the rest of the game wasn't actually really conceptualized with the idea that sex was going to be more notable than any other activity, really.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think like it's interesting to see where the game kind of winds up on that front because I do think that like sex winds up being this important method of power exchange for on like a character level on a girl level. Um,
Yeah. So the issue I ended up having in some of the playtests that ran is that it didn't feel like there was a uh way to create a sort of like pardon the pun, but there wasn't a way to have like a climax in the game.
Right.
um characters could uh like fight each other with like and they could beat each other up, but there was no like climax of emotional intimacy. There was no payoff for the fact that the characters like want to fuck or
Yeah.
don't want to fuck.
Yeah, it is so interesting. I was playing. Unfortunately, I've not played Girl Frame yet, so
Mhm.
some of my kind of framework here is going to be based on other games that I've played where I've had some stuff that I felt has been like similar. I was playing my partner Wendy's work in progress game Dot House recently, um,
Mhm.
and there was a situation where a character I was playing basically knew that like at some point the person that she was speaking to was gonna like try and sexually abuse her or like sexually assault her,
Mhm.
and was basically like just get it over with. Um, and
Mhm.
I think like that sort of thing. There's a like sex is about sex can be about power. It can be about intimacy. It can be about care. It can be about abuse. Um, and I've really felt like in reading Girl Frame, like I can imagine even for any given sex move, like all of the ways that like these characters connecting can look.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up like when I was writing them, I was like, oh, this is what's missing.
Yeah,
Right?
that
Like I had a moment, and on finishing them, I was like, okay, this is the point where I then set a date to release the game. Because I was like, okay, now they are like I think that the game is done, and I didn't expect it to get as I didn't expect to keep working on it after release, to be honest. Um,
mm,
mm, but it kind of taking off gave me significantly more motivation to keep working on it. Like it renewed my excitement.
yeah, it definitely found an audience, and I think like
Mhm.
something I've been really happy to see is like the folks who I know who adore who adore and write Mexplo have been like some of the some really big advocates for it, which is really nice. Um,
Yeah, it's been interesting.
yeah,
I feel slightly bad because I haven't read a lot of like I'm working my way through reading their stuff
real,
now.
real, yeah.
Because like I have only read the first chapter of Warhound. I read Hecate's Call uh in my Discord as a 50 Patreon um goal. I now have a copy of Warhound sitting on my shelf, which I'm going to be reading in my Discord as well. But yeah, it's been interesting just to break into this like community that I wasn't really super involved in and didn't know a ton about beforehand.
Yeah, it's like not to get too into the weeds here, but like I feel like a common parenthesis before I go into this critique because I think it's fucking stupid. I'm gonna start by saying a common parentheses stupid critique of Warhound is that it's just drawing from the AC6 trailer. Um, and it's like Callie
Hmm.
has been a mech freak for fucking years and years and years. And I think in
Hmm.
the same way, like there's almost this like perpendicular evolution thing that happened where it's like
Hmm.
well I am curious like what were you seeing and what inspirations kind of led to writing Girl Frame.
So mechs first kind of became like a thing in my head when Witch from Mercury came out, which was what, like 2020?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something like that. So Witch from Mercury came out, and I was like, ooh, lesbians, mechs. I'm a baby trans person. These are my two favorite things.
Mhm.
Um, and then even I went and I watched Evangelion and had incredibly mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
But also have thought about it probably once a week for the past like 5 years. Um, I don't know if I saying that I like Evangelion is like correct.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely have like a lot of a lot of feelings about it as a piece of media, and weirdly kind of contrary to what a lot of people I think feel, I like the rebuilds quite a bit better than I like the original show.
I still gotta watch those. I keep hearing really good things about those.
Yeah,
My
I think
friend.
they're
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's all good.
I was gonna mention an inspiration that you list on Girl Frame is Fellowship, and actually my friend Velmini, who wrote that, has
Mhm.
recommended the rebuilds to me. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, obviously, like the game has a lot of very obvious Evangelion influences. Um, the like the Gorgons in particular are kind of just angels.
Yeah.
Um, but with a more uh like mental twist, I guess. And I also watched 86,
Okay.
which is one of my favorite 86 is one of my favorite shows of all time. I think if I were to Evangelion, I think had the most influence on the setting, but I think that 86 was probably what's been in my brain the most over the course of writing Girlfriend. Um, that's where I started using the word handler from.
Okay.
Because one of the so okay, if for people who haven't seen 86, it is essentially a future setting where a like ethno state goes and drives all of the minority groups out of the inside core, like the imperial core kind of, to pilot these really, really shitty small spider-like mechs and then fight against a essentially what are like zombie mechs from another kingdom.
Okay. I still have not watched
That have
86,
like
so intrigued.
it's very, very good. I think that the first I really like the second season as well, but I think that the first season is the uh some of the best written anime I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I'm a huge weeb.
Hell
So that
yeah.
was in my brain a lot. I was working on Girlframe already at that point, but it was called Traumatized Mech Pilots. And then I played Armored Core 6 when it came out. Um, and I kept seeing art of uh, Fem621
Uh-huh.
on the subreddit. And that's when I think when I started calling it Girlframe. Because I was like, wow, I love women.
Yeah. I think I was talking to who was I talking to this about? Someone I was talking to someone about this at one point about like why I think Girl Frame hit for me really well, which is like my like kind of aligning with what you're describing with Ava and 86. I have not watched 86, so I'll have to uh, defer to you on that. But like the sense that a mech is like a mech is a machine that's haunted and kind of living is like I think the sort of thing that I'm really into. I was
Hmm.
really the Ire stuff really hit for me in AC6. I'm constantly enamored with like the weird the weird
Yeah.
xenobiology incest stuff that happens in Ava. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah, it all just really works for me.
Yeah, I love the fact in 86 that there's like those choral generators you can get, and you can actually, if you listen closely while you're flying, if the
Oh yeah.
music's kind of low, you can hear them screaming.
Oh, AC6 is so cool.
It's
Anyways,
such a good game.
it's really great. Um, yeah, and I think I saw a lot of that um, in Girlframe when I read through it. Like there's so much there things are bad in a specifically kind of uh torment nexus way. Like it's not just about like the uh it's not just about biology, it's like kind of about the spirit as well, and I find that really
Yeah.
compelling.
Hmm.
um
Yeah, and I love the also like this almost like boring corporate aesthetic of
yeah,
that AC6 has, where it's like things are lame, um, not necessarily just because they're fascist, but because they're like lazy capitalists,
yeah,
right?
that, yeah,
Like it's things are lame because we have these huge, incredible mega structures that we can like mega structures that can go out past like where there's breathable air and fill the whole sky, and we can apparently build them so that we only have like, one or two people running the whole thing.
yeah,
It's like almost post scarcity in the amount of resources that seem to be available, and yet everything is like so bureaucratically capitalist, and your character is so in debt that it's just like why are things like this? And the only answer seems to be that everyone's a fucking idiot.
yeah. Or too afraid of like what would happen if they, what would happen if they let beauty into their hearts, which I think kind of
Yeah, exactly, right?
is the thing that I think I messaged you after reading through Girl Frame, where I was like, I love that. I mean, not to immediately jump into the sirens, but I think they're like pretty
Harpies.
crucial for, sorry, the harpies, apologies, the
Yeah,
harpies.
all
I
good.
think they're pretty crucial for like talking about the rest of the game, which is like the idea that like there are these that there's like this great frontier of like uh of trans there's this great frontier of transgenderism basically that like
Hmm.
will inevitably pull at you, and like they will take losses, and they'll be dragged back every once in a while, but you know there is this sense, at least in my reading of the book, where it's like eventually this thing will win, um or something like it.
Yeah. Yeah, harpies are so I think harpies I originally came up with harpies because I was writing the Janus playbook, I believe. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I want a mech that has a girl who's a battery in it. What do I do? Okay, let's do because I made, I think, Princess, Prince, Janus, Mockingbird was like
Right.
the order that I wrote the game in. And those were the first four things that I created, and I think are like okay. I love the Gorgons, but they're definitely not as important to the game as the Harpies are, despite being a much larger part of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the read of Harpies as like self-actualized trans women, I think, is the most common one.
Hmm.
Definitely. The second most common is that it's like a not self-actualized, but that it's like a almost manic escape from reality kind of thing. It's like the idea of almost like a disassociation escapism to try and get out of a horrible situation.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I don't exactly take either of those. Like, all of those were things that I thought about when writing, and I like to leave things a bit ambiguous as to what it is. But the way I've actually described them, like to my partners and stuff, is that I feel like harpies are that like mimetic hazard of transness that fascism is afraid of.
Right, yeah.
Um, because harpies are like one of the things with the rules of the game is you never have to meet a harpy or a gorgon in
Yeah.
order to become a harpy. Void is something that you can gain by yourself. Um, and like that is also very true of transness, is that even when people don't have the words to describe it, people will often like, I mean, I was like 4 years old. I've never heard of trans people before, and I was like, oh, I want to be a girl,
Yeah, you just
right?
wanted it.
Yeah, like, and you know, kids are going to figure that stuff out, and they might like forget about it or try and hide it or whatever, but like I think one of the things that both makes trans people such like perfect victims for fascism, but also makes us uh like also means that we're going to win, um, is the fact that there's always going to be more trans people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And I find like I would say like a grim kind of hope is what I would describe that
Yeah.
as, where
Yeah,
it's
no,
like the sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the fact that the Foundation can pull you can pull a harpy back is like that, that grimness, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's also an element where like harpies wouldn't exist if the Foundation wasn't putting girls in mechs,
Right.
right? The like in a similar way to where our own society has a gender binary that like sort of causes transness to exist as a concept. Um, the Foundation is putting girls in mechs. They're kind of causing their own biggest threat.
Yeah.
Um, because they can't let go of their war machines.
Yeah. They can't imagine a world where a world that is not just endless and infinite abuse. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. That's thank you for that kind of breakdown of that. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I also like most interpretations. I just have like that's less the interpretation that I intended while writing it, and more the interpretation that I have come to after writing it for like years.
yeah, that makes sense. I think sometimes you write something, in a teacher in fiction or whatever, where it's like it's kind of you're just getting some stuff out, and then you kind of come back to it and figure out
Mhm,
what you meant by it. I certainly have that often.
mhm.
Um, so one thing that I identified a lot with the girl frame that I'd love to chat about, is the influence of like kind of plays first. I'm making X play type PBTA design, which I think is like something that I haven't ever really designed around, and I find really interesting. Um,
Mhm.
I'm curious, like what influences or decisions kind of led to that approach.
So, Under Hollow Hills is actually sort of like I was doing game design for a really long time, but Under Hollow Hills was like the game that got me a bit more into PBTA design.
Mm-hmm.
Because I read like back in like 2017 or something, the very first Patreon design docs. I signed up to Vincent Baker's Patreon like 9 years ago, or whatever. Um, when I was like 16 or something.
Okay.
Huh? 15? No, 15? I have no idea. Um, yeah, I would have been 15 at that point if it was uh that date. To read Under Hollow Hills because I was so fascinated by this concept of like uh a a fairy game, but also I found the plays like not fiction first. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there was a degree to which I just kind of wanted to experiment with it. Um, Under Hollow Hills was a big influence. Praise the Hawkmoth King was also obviously a big
Yeah,
influence
yeah.
on this version. Um, I feel like it's a little bit of trying to jar people out of some of their. A lot of Girl Frame is kind of me trying to jar people out of what I feel are kind of misconceptions about PBTA because there's been a lot of like really bad PBTA games.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yep.
Um, and so there was elements of like, a common criticism I see from people who dislike PBTA is they're like, oh, the moves are so restrictive. And so I was kind of like, okay, let me show you what restrictive looks like.
Right, yeah. That's good.
Right? Let me show you what PBTA actually looks like if the game is trying to fight you. Um, and so I felt like plays were sort of a better way to also break people out of that because a lot of people struggle seemingly with the like fictional initiation into mechanical interaction into fictional result.
Right.
Um, and plays I find people often have a bit less trouble with because you don't have to do the fictional initiation of the play is a part of the mechanics as well. So you're doing it just goes mechanics fiction.
Yeah, and I like that you kept it open where it can be fiction mechanics fiction because I know some people are more used to that, or at least it can be trigger,
Mhm.
like mechanic as trigger or mechanic as like declaration. I think having either option is nice. Um,
Yeah, I mean, really also like I think Vincent said this a couple times, but it's like moves are where actually meant to be played either way.
right.
Right? But plays are more just a way of trying to break people out of a restrictive mindset and look at what happens if you write things with the assumption that that they are mechanics first.
Yeah, that they're instigated, right? Like that, or initiated
Mhm.
by the person who the person who has like stake in them basically. Um,
Yeah, and I felt that it fit a bit more because they're more like plays are a bit more like pushing buttons than moves, which fits with like the mech theming.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that, I hadn't thought about that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, another element I'd love to talk about with the basic moves is the specific like in terms of the numbers the apocalypse keys influence because I love how diverse that can be where you open a move and it's like it's not just 6 fail 7 to 9 success 10 plus success like it's
Mhm.
I've really appreciated, especially with Girl Frame, how diverse those can be. I'd love to hear about like the choice to kind of include that sort of Apocalypse Keys style numerical system.
Yeah, it was actually basically just because I wanted to incorporate the heat system. Um, I tried making a version of it with stats, and a more like traditional PBTA structure. And I'm not very good at writing stats. So actually, some of the identities were the original stats, like malfunctioning,
Okay.
um, and dangerous, and all of those ones. Those were originally stats, and then I was like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't feel like there's. It doesn't feel like I have the ability to like push the throttle to full
Yeah.
with a stat, right? It's like, okay, I'm gonna all out assault. What's my stat in that? Versus I'm gonna all out assault. Okay, let's spend 5 heat, which is also why I uncapped it because Apocalypse Keys has I think a +3 cap on the amount of darkness you can spend.
Right, right.
And I decided to do away with that bit.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like having no cap on it for the reason you describe. I think that's really cool.
Large numbers are kind of hot in their own way.
Large numbers are odd. If someone rolls a fucking 15 and it like ruins their life, like who am I to complain?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I
awesome.
I rolled one time in a TTRPG session. I had someone like a this was like way back in 2019,
Uh-huh.
2020 playing D&D. Someone rolled I had like a NPC show up on a PC's like second session after being introduced to the game. Um go and roll. It wasn't fireball, but it was one of those like roll 8d6 damage
Yeah.
spells, and I rolled like 5 6s
Oh
and
my
nothing
god.
below a 4,
Jesus
and just
Christ.
instantly dead. Second session introduced.
Sometimes a
Um,
guy gotta get nuked.
yeah,
It's
yeah, and that
okay.
was fun. That was that was a fun moment, and I like having those kind of like holy shit, what did I just roll
Yeah, I think
moments.
I think something kind of adjacent to that I've really appreciated with Girlframe is that there's a lot of design that feels very um I'm not even sure necessarily how to describe it. I mean, I think this is true for a lot of narrative games, but I just think that Girlframe does it particularly well. There's a lot of stuff that feels very open, that feels like it's kind of meant to interact in weird ways, and uh, I can picture like I think that the best thing that I can say about like reading through Girlframe is that like I could picture scenes, I could picture like interesting moments happening with these moves interacting with each other, or plays rather.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the I like the school of design of like I think there was a post that Cave Girl made on
Okay.
Blue Sky recently, which was like it's like broke is like a good GM can make any game fun, and
Uh-huh.
woke is a good system is fun even when you're bad at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I really like I don't care about the system matters debate. System matters to me.
Mhm.
And that's all that I really care about. Um, but to me, it's like kind of important in my design that it is. If you just go with your first instincts, you will end up with something fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think I think it's good. Like, I remember going a bit into like my own my own like indie teacher history. I remember like when I first went from D&D to indie games, I was like, I have to think of something like smart and that will actually do something productive, and like now I'm like I'm so interested in failure. I love fucking up. It's such a
Yeah,
joy.
Yeah, I mean the like in so many PBTA games, successes are just really boring.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and often people don't even write failures. So you will
Mm.
often have a game where you have a like like in a game where you have a binary pass fail, even if there's no description, often there's sort of this implicit idea that, you know, there's going to be an interesting result either way. And often in PBTA, I feel like you've added a result beyond what people normally expect from dice rolling, and two of them are kind of boring.
Yeah, I very, I very much agree with that point. I think like um, even I who I've found myself with a game that is like massive and unwieldy and still kind of using like a pretty normative TD6 system or like regular like normative PBTA system. Like I'm still like,
Mhm.
all right, 10 plus has to be freaky. We got to figure this shit out. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
really agree with that. And I also agree in terms of like I think I don't know I this is like my meanest opinion about teacher RPGs, but I feel like we're kind of coming out of the stupor of like the
Yeah,
2010s, which is really just like, aside from a couple of really great games, a just sea of like uh a sea of kind of like lukewarm, tepid ass like pastiche PBTA games. Like, oh, do you want to play Fast and Furious in PBTA? Here it is. Here's like 5 playbooks and some moves, and it's like I need your specific perverted mix of inspirations and obsessions. Like I don't want this, you know?
yeah. I really had the experience when I when I read Under Hollow Hills and got to play Under Hollow Hills. I was kind of like, oh, maybe I don't specifically like PBTA games. Maybe I just really like Monster Hearts and Apocalypse World.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe it's not that PBTA. Maybe it's not that most PBTA is very good. It's just that like Avery Alder and Vincent and Meg are just absolutely insanely good designers.
yeah. And I think being fond of both those games, of all three of those games myself, like I think there's a degree to which like even like I played a Going Broke with Avery
Mhm.
a while back, and like I think going into that I was a little bit like, oh, is this gonna be just kind of like a sitcom teacher RPG? And I was like, no, like as always Avery is cooking, because I think the people who come at design from a real place of like uh I hate to use the word perversion, but I think that's the word I'm gonna use. Like, uh, I think there's a lot of value, and I would include you in that rank of like I think you come at my sense is from just having read your work. Like, I really feel like you're coming at design and writing and stuff with teacher RPGs from a perspective that is like built around your specific interests and the things that like itch at you, and not just kind of answering to an existing piece of media or kind of like an urge or like an external urge, a meme, a
Yeah,
cultural thing. Like it really feels like it's coming from you.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's kind of I feel like because I was like, a 20 downloads on itch indie
Mhm.
designer, right? And I honestly think that so there's so many people who are approaching things from that perspective. It's just that they're not getting more than 20 downloads on itch,
Yeah.
right? Because you see some stuff that has a lot of like real heart and care put into it in the industry. Um, but you also see a lot of stuff that kind of, I don't know, just kind of like you said, like things that feel like they're made to try and fill. And PBTA, I think, is really susceptible to this
Mhm.
because of the sort of myth that's been spread that it's entirely about genre emulation.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, PBTA is really susceptible to this sort of idea of like people making games to fill a perceived gap rather than making games because they have a real desire and drive and idea to make that game.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's games like Under Hollow Hills, Praise the Hawkmoth King, Apocalypse Keys, Dungeon Bitches. Those are all games where I look at them and I'm like, this is a game that someone made for themselves. And that's the kind of art that I enjoy
Yeah, I would
personally.
absolutely second that. Um, I yeah, and I think like my thing in talking about like 20 20 downloaded games, like I think I have been really as much as possible trying to push folks' work where I can.
Mhm.
I think I'm less in touch with it now because I closed the Tiger Games server, but
Yeah,
I still try and do what I can on that front. And
yeah. There's so much stuff, and I'm so busy that I don't have nearly enough time to read RPGs as I would like.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of RPGs that I've read, do you have any interest in? Do you have any interest in? I've only read like the basics and read a few of the playbooks, but I was just intrigued by some of the things present in this game. Do you have any interest in talking about We Eat Roses to Grow Thorns?
Oh God, sure.
um, the main thing that I was really intrigued by with this game. Um, I mean, there were a couple. The fact that you wrote so for context, I have a game called We Who Travel by Starlight that has a
Mhm.
playbook. We Who Travel by Starlight is like a very thinly veiled like lyric game about Palestine, and specifically about
Mhm.
Zionism. And the the playbook that you play if you're representing like basically the occupation, the Zionists, is one that has first of all doesn't do anything until the end of the game, um,
Mhm.
and two has many of its options crossed off, and it's made explicit that these are options that like in its pick list, options that were presented by scholars and protesters and people who were jailed and executed and shunned from
Mhm.
society. um, and so in having done that sort of design myself, I find it fascinating that in this game We Eat Roses to Our Thorns that is like you know, about this kind of unkempt, broken garden, that you have the fact that you can never play the gardener, and that feels very in line with, and very expressionist, and also very in line with um, some of the stuff in Girl Frame around like some of the parts that you're not supposed to look at, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I'm
My
just yeah.
friend, my friend just sent me a message saying, "Oh gosh, is she asking you about your therapy game?"
Oh no. Listen, I don't have this context. I like to, where possible, I like to Nardwar it a little bit. It's important for me to like dive at least an inch deep. Just if you don't want to talk about it, I'm happy to.
There's a limit to how much I will talk about this game, because I don't actually remember writing most of it.
Understood.
Um, I kind of was in the middle of like a mixture between like a fugue state and a manic episode.
You have a heart of gold.
Real.
And I wrote
No
it,
one can take it from
and I
you.
wrote it in like, I was like incredibly depressed and having a terrible time when I started working on it. And 2.5 weeks later, I was finished it and felt significantly better.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember those 2 weeks
Fair.
very much. But yeah, there's been a lot of different speculation on what it is about. I think like everyone's gotten parts of it. Uh, some people thought it was like a plural thing, which it's not, as far as I know. I'm not
Mhm.
plural. But I think that there's definitely like, I don't know, you could maybe call it plural adjacent,
Makes
I
sense.
suppose.
It definitely has some as being plural myself, it definitely has some elements of that in my own reading of it. It's definitely
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, plurality is something that I mostly have like a like one of my very closest friends is plural, and obviously being in trans TTRPG spaces, I have had a lot of experiences with plurality. And as Muzzle Lesbian says, uh, ironic considering Girlframe has probably spawned at least 100 interjects.
Yeah, you basically dropped like a pluralism nuke. Like there's like plural radiation floating around the Girlframe server in some ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm here for it. More girl per girl is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, we're reaching girl saturation in a beautiful way.
Hmm.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a it's a game.
It's a game. Think of
It's
it
a
what you
game.
will. It's available on the internet.
It's available on the internet. It is free. Um, Here I actually will just put I'm just gonna like self promo in your
I'll paste
chat
your itch again as
for
well.
a second.
Um, Folks should also check out Isabelle's. Oh, actually, I don't know. How do you feel about your Monster Heart skins?
I think that they're probably still fine.
Hell yeah.
I wrote them very quickly. They could probably do with like a touch up. The succubus in particular actually had kind of a weird thing where like the first time I wrote it, people were like, "This is kind of rapey," and I was like, "Okay, shoot, I'll adjust it." And then since then, I've gone back and readjusted it back to the
Yes!
rapey version.
You're so smart. Your brain is so fucking huge. Yeah.
Um,
That's
so
a
it's kind of on. It's on like its third version.
yeah. That's an interesting thing to talk about. I would love to talk about like I think I find myself in such an interesting position here because like okay, I won't name names, but I had a conversation with someone on Blue Sky the other day, where we were kind of joking around, and I was like, they were like joking around, like, yeah, like this game fucks, and I was like, okay, but is there sex in it? And they were like, you can do whatever you want with a game, and I was like, okay, I will be describing my like my sadomasochistic rape fantasy game as a module for your game. And then the person like
Mhm.
kind of was like, okay, to get out of the joke for a second, like I don't approve, like I don't approve of like sexual assault content for my game. And it's like yes, and your game, like yes, you have the ability to say that, and like, you know, sure, but also like your game is about like guys going into dungeons and killing people, like with guns specifically, and it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like we get so sensitive about like sexual assault content. I only bring this up because it's like such a crucial part of Girl Frame to my estimation.
Yeah. Uh, I love that Sage's post, which I know you've seen, of the like, oh, your game's about going into dungeons and killing monsters. Sounds cool, but I don't think I'll ever be able to play it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could find a group for that.
Sage and
You've
I
got
are
violence?
in a lot of conversation about that particular thing because it's like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah. What are your thoughts on like that particular reaction? Because it's so common. Have you seen that for Girl Frame specifically?
Um, I think that people tend to self-select when engaging with girlfriend. Um, there's been some like minor moments in my Discord, and obviously there's been people who've like never joined who've been like, "Oh, gross! Why would I do that?"
Mhm.
I intentionally, partially due to like itch related stuff and all of the weirdness, I don't put content warnings on the itch page.
Yup.
Um, because in my opinion, no content warnings is like sort of going like, okay, if you're gonna engage with this thing with no content warnings, um, you have to be prepared for stuff that might trigger you.
Yeah.
Um, and that is your responsibility, and I don't really want to get my game delisted by putting like this game has sexual assault on
Uh-huh.
the store page.
I have a very
Um,
strong. Sorry, I'll let you finish, and then I'll give my very
no, go ahead.
stupid. Okay, my very strong controversial opinion on that is that and some people, including people in my like spaces, have kind of like recoiled at this a bit, but I still think I'm right, which is like I don't think itch has the moderating capacity to actually moderate for the actual content of TTRPGs.
Oh no.
Like I genuinely think you can put whatever you want in your game as long as you are careful about what's on the itch page.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I assume. Um, my friend just sent me a message saying host the games on AO3. Not a bad idea,
Oh,
actually.
how would that? I guess you would use a
Oh,
skin.
you could probably do like a. I mean, it's already got like chapter titles and
Oh my god, AO3
oh,
TTRPG.
that's actually such a good idea.
Your friend is so wise. Your friend is so fucking
Mhm.
genius. Holy shit. Anyways, apologies. I
Um,
interrupted.
what was I saying? The yeah, I mean, people are really weird about like people are really weird about sexual assault.
Mhm.
Like I don't like. Did your friends in high school not talk to each other?
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know. Was this not an experience that was like you were like surrounded by?
Yeah, I see. I actually don't know if I was in high school
Mm,
specifically. I was in college. There was a lot of stuff going on in college. I think like, but I also I think especially with the work that I do now, which I will not go into for my own
mhm.
protection. Um, I think with the work that I do now, like I am especially exposed to um, the realities of that, and I think the way that you're framing it is like really makes a lot of sense to me in the sense that like I think for most people like some kind of rape is just like a constant reality. or not constant
Yeah,
reality,
I
but at
mean,
least like a part of their life.
yeah, it's just a thing, right? It's a thing that is a aspect of life and that everyone is going to have some sort of exposure to, whether it's like themselves or a friend or
Mhm.
like even just on the internet or whatever. It's just like, and I feel like one of the biggest barriers to it being properly dealt with is the fact that no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Like you can't like you need people to understand what this is and understand that they're capable that they're allowed to talk about it to be able to engage with it in any like uh safe capacity, like from
yeah.
both a preventative standpoint and also from a kink standpoint.
Yeah, the thing that I'm finding really interesting is like, and the thing that I think I'm actually very happy with is I feel like for the like I've known about the existence of to kind of bring it back to Mexplo specifically and to empty spaces.
Mhm.
I've known about empty spaces. Um I've known about erotic fiction, specifically trans femme erotic fiction. I've known about Calidora since I was probably in high school, um,
Mhm.
like maybe end of high school, early college, and I think the thing that I've been happy to see is like as that stuff's catching on more and more, not just in that subculture but across trans and queer culture, like I think we are, because for the longest time we've had voices and tones and settings and vibes for cool and fun and silly fantasy violence, fantasy brutality and death and we've had
Mhm.
hacking and slashing, um, and I think we are both now thankfully finding like uh, uh, the approval, I think, on some level for voices that are about the hack and slash of rape, which is like you know
Yeah.
like hypno, and I think even some of the stuff that I do in Sapphic World, which is very inspired by like corruption of champions and stuff like that, is very like what if getting raped was like as bad as like getting stung by a bee, and the and that's also creating permission for really serious stories about sexual assault, and also being eroticizing those really serious stories about sexual assault, um
Mhm.
being okay with the the mix of positive and negative feelings. Stories can make you feel various things, it turns out, and games even.
What?
What?
Shocking.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like most kink seems to come from like that sort of. There's the thing of like everyone's kink is horror to someone else,
Yeah,
right? And I think that like being one of the most common types of IRL horror makes sexual assault obviously one of the most common kinks.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really fucking good take. If I get banned, sorry everybody. Not for anything you said. I think it's probably more for stuff that I said. But I think it's worth saying this stuff. I think it needs to be said, like, because
Yeah.
I'm seeing these dynamics, but I'm not necessarily seeing them reflected in like the way that like some people talk about talk about, like, I still feel like a lot of people have the um all right, guys, we're gonna play some D&D today. Just, I want to get it, I want to get it over with above the board here. There's gonna be no sex, no sexual assault, no slavery in this game, and it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, can we have that conversation? Can we have that conversation at least? Can we
Yeah.
talk about like what actually are we all comfortable with, right? Um,
Yeah, that was an experience that I kind of had a lot of being like, I'm setting limits based on what I think other people
God, you're
will
so
want,
right.
rather than like actually paying any attention to my own limits, which might also be like, in both directions, right? Like
Yeah,
your own limits might actually end up being significantly less extreme than you might thought, even if you're significantly more extreme in other areas.
right. Yeah.
And that goes for sex. That goes for. I'm increasingly agreeing with the take that like
Oh,
TTRPGs are just kink.
yeah, yeah.
Like not even in like a not even in a metaphorical sense, but in kind of a literal sense.
I'm tempted to agree. Um, I think even the way that I see like to bring it back to plurality, the way that I see like certain spaces, like when I talk about spaces like subspace, dom space in kink, the way that like I see those form
Mhm,
characters, and for people with DID or like who are plural, I see a lot of like the same dynamics where it's like I was playing this character and now that person is part of me, and it's like, is that kink? Was that from a kink thing or a teacher G thing? uh
mhm,
I developed a headmate from playing monstrosity, from playing the erotic vampire larp, which is like a different thing, but still
mhm,
kind of the same kind of beast. um
mhm.
yeah, yeah. No, I very much agree with that actually. Oh, I actually kind of liked that. Yeah. uh, hell yeah. Well, we're kind of at our last like half hour here. I think we'll keep it to like an hour and a half. Is there anything else you want to talk about? And anything that you feel like we haven't touched on? I know we haven't kind of gotten to the nitty gritty much with Girl Frame. Kind of, uh,
Mm.
yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
Um, I'm I'm thinking a lot about Girlfriend at the moment from a like what already exists because I've been focusing a lot on like adding stuff to the game.
Right.
Um, and I've started kind of thinking a bit about like I have one more frame playbook I want to add. Um, but I want to add like a few more Gorgons. And I've got like one more rebel group in the works and stuff like that. Uh, but I think I'm a little bit at the point of wanting to start like new document, let's edit everything
Yeah, yeah.
kind of vibes. Yeah, the Chaser Rebels.
Chaser? Oh no. Concerning.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
chasers.
they're the people who kidnap harpies.
Oh my god. The fucking
Yeah.
Halamedians. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're fun. Wait, I might here. Let me send you a segment
Oh shit.
of it.
Do you mind if
Uh
I put this on screen?
yeah, you can go ahead.
Awesome. I'll have to.
I'll send you two. I'll send you two sections.
Hell yeah.
Um I don't wanna spoil the whole thing.
Chasers and mechs
It's
really
gonna
go
be on my
together. They really go together with like, or sorry, chasers and mechs really go together like trying to think of like two horrible things that go well together, and I'm like struggling a bit. Vinegar and olives, I guess. So, I mean, I like olives, the thing, but
Oh, vinegar and olive sounds great.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know, like white vinegar, not necessarily
white
balsamic.
vinegar, yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Um, Orange juice and toothpaste is pretty good. That's kind of in the that's definitely in the
Yeah.
zone that I'm thinking. Um, let me see here. Here, this will work. All right, so one of these that you sent me, it's gonna be a little tight. Abyssal Acolyte, you're a void drunk junkie
That's what she said.
of the. That's what she said. You're a void drunk junkie of the Abyss Chasers, one of the fanatics who hunts down void space rifts, captures harpies, and worships them even as you lick blood from their flanks. You call them goddess and carve them to pieces. Your pleasure is the only thing that matters. Oh god. Void drunk. When a girl dives deep near you, you can latch onto her like a parasite and tag along, choosing the same number of options she does. You can also choose one. Mark one of her tags and leave her gasping for air when she resurfaces, marking her helpless. Smother the apometanoia in its crib, killing a transformation into a harpy. You emerge from the deep right beside her in the cockpit or from her shadow. That's really fun. That's oh
Yeah.
god. I love a fucked up chaser witch.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, they're the like we're gonna make the harpies comp top.
we're gonna make the harpies comp top. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's horrific in a
Yeah.
really great way. I'm excited
Yeah,
for that.
they're fun.
I love how the rebels all suck. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm working on that. I want to get one more frame playbook done, to round out the sort of 3-3-3 for each class.
Right.
But I'm kind of at the point of wanting to like edit the like just kind of go through and edit the whole game and look at every play, every segment and go like, okay, is this what I want? Right? Is this doing what
Yeah.
I want it to? And I'm kind of already doing that. I'm making a new strain system.
Okay.
That's a bit more like the strain system's been a bit weird because it's been very like varied between groups where you get both like you get stories about like one person's like, oh, we've had like 3 sessions and we've gained nine strain, and then another person's like, we hit 33 strain in 1 session.
Yeah, I almost feel like you maybe want it to be more. I mean, this is not necessarily game design advice, but just kind of my assessment of what you're saying. Like, it almost sounds like maybe you want it to be more steppy almost.
This one is uh I'm going to my OSR brain and I'm doing some
Awesome.
random tables.
Oh shit.
Um
Yeah.
I've got this one is it's basically you've got each strain has high strain and low strain. And all your strain starts low. And you roll a d6. There's 2 events per result. And then there's a bunch of things that can swap you between high and
Okay.
low. So
That's
like
fun.
low void strain is like you spot a harpy, a gorgon appears. Uh, you have to make an appearance to satisfy the public desires for normalcy. And then high void strain is like a harpy appears in your bunk. An NPC is revealed to be a gorgon. Completely recontextualize your group's understanding of void. Like the sky opens up, stuff like that.
That's really fun. Love that.
Um, and so it's much more like a one event per strain per off duty
I think that
per
makes
session.
sense. Yeah, I think that was one of my. I don't think I mentioned that, but like it yeah, it makes sense that that would have been an issue previously. I think that's a great fix.
Yeah, strain was a difficult thing to balance because I like, you know, I am going to be in any game that I run, and like testing out what strain looks like after 3 sessions is like a 12-hour commitment.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot.
So I'm trying to go for something that's a bit less like experimental almost, I guess, so that I can more guarantee that it's like working well and consistently for every group.
Yeah.
And I think it also adds a lot more strain events because there's the current one is I think 12 to 16 per strain type, and this one is going to be 24 per
Hell yeah.
strain type.
I think having more is good.
Yeah.
More and less, like more happening less often. I think gives it space to breathe. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm working on a little other PBTA game,
Hell
which is
yeah.
I learned about combat dolls.
Oh yeah.
Um
Uh-huh.
and so I'm making it's called War Doll, and it's like a have you read Necroephilogus?
I'm trying to think if I have. How do you spell it again?
It's a let me see, Necroephilogus.
Epilogus. Here we go. Um,
It's a web serial.
I've not read Necroepilogos. I'm thinking of another game, a game specifically.
There's a Necronica, probably.
Necronica, the one where the yeah.
Yeah. So Necroephilogus is inspired by Necronica.
Okay.
Um, Ward uh Wardall was like, I read Necroephilogus, and then Sage told me to read Necronica.
Right.
And so I went and read Necronica, and I was like, I don't think this game looks very fun.
Uh-huh.
To actually like it looks
Actually
really
play.
cool, but it doesn't look like it would be very enjoyable to play. So then I wanted to uh do something similar, but I didn't want it to just become Susie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Susie's a very good game. Um, so this is a lot more like I'm doing a little bit of stuff that I think is pretty cool with like how you think about PBTA moves as like the only thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
And so part of the game is I'm hoping in the process of trying to write a D60 table of PBTA moves that you can install in yourself.
Oh, that's really fun. That's really, really fun.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Um, so we will we will see how it goes, but I've got a few thousand. TTRPG design is always like takes so much more time to write the same amount of
It
words
definitely
as
does.
prose writing.
Yeah, I have
But
a
I've got a few
number.
thousand words.
Yeah. I have a number of drafts that have like just been terminally like sitting in my Google Drive, and so I've kind of just resolved to draw to write little things. Uh, yeah, that sounds really fucking cool though. I'm really excited to hear about that,
Mhm.
and I think Combat Dolls
Yeah,
is like something that people super be here for.
yeah,
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
Shamu. It's a little bit like that, sort of. There's some stuff around like, the rich people are all in satellites and they have all the batteries.
okay.
Um, and so they want to watch you fuck.
Oh, that's hot. That's really good.
Yeah, so it's a bit of like so there's a balance of like trying to get tech to repair your parts that you break while trying to get enough entertainment points with the rich people
Oh, that's fun.
uh
I love that.
to buy your batteries. Um Stuff like that. Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably release it on Patreon at some point. I want to get my uh fiance to draw like basically some robot snuff art for it for me.
Hell yeah. I love robot snuff art. I love seeing robots being torn apart and such.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm in a couple of Discords with a channel specifically dedicated to that, and I'm so excited to be able to commission a shit ton for
I gotta be in servers
for
where they're
various games.
posting that shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Grab my
Mhm.
wires, I'm saying in chat. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless everybody. Amazing. I'm trying to think of
God
anything else that I'd like to ask you about. Not really. I feel like we've covered a wide berth. Well, it was an absolute delight having you on. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
coming on, Isabelle. Is there anything aside from your hang on, I know exactly what I should share, folks. Aside from your and your Patreon, is there anything that you'd like to share?
Uh, Not at the moment, I think.
Okay. Yeah, go
Yeah.
follow Isabelle on Itch. Go check out Isabelle's Patreon and become a member if you're interested in like early access to Girlframe. It's been a delight reading through your game over the
Mhm.
last month or so, and it was a delight having you on.
Yeah, thanks. Me too, Carrion.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna raid out to my friend Melody Burst, and everybody have a lovely night, and
Well,
take care. Bye.
see you, everyone.
Remember,
Bye.
if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, fans.